Start recording now. 3, 2.
What?
Dear beloved souls, welcome back to Synchronisessions. Today we have our dear friend Dr. Mohsen back with us. We're really excited to talk about consciousness today.
My pleasure to be here. It's always wonderful to talk to you two. You're such a wonderful couple. And as I said, people have enjoyed watching you, and they've made the comments to me. And hopefully they will find us more and more, and they'll watch more and get something out of these, these interviews, conversations, whatever you want to call it. So wonderful. Very good. And by the way, I'm sorry, I'm concentrating so much on you too. I want to just welcome everybody, whenever it is, whatever they are, whether it's morning, afternoon, the middle of the night, whatever, or if they're just watching this, rerun or recorded version of it or whatever. And thank you for coming back to us. And we hope that we can answer some questions. And the other thing is that I think they should communicate with you and specifically ask a question. They didn't understand this, or they don't agree with this, or they've seen this, because there's so much nonsense out there that people have, they have their set mind in that. And I've had this over and over. And they come in and they ask a question, and after that they say, no, this makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? So, if people want to come back and ask questions, give us a little bit of a direction, because the program is for them, right? It's a service we're doing for them to enlighten them, and the best we can serve them is that they're interactive and they can talk to us. I mean, throughout this program, they can type things for you, message you, and either right on the spot, you can bring up the question once we converse, or we can arrange for another meeting or whatever. And, I want to answer every question I can. Okay? So we don't want to, we would like to do that. This is not something that is, take it or leave it type sort of situation. It's interactive. It's with people. So go ahead. Do your beautiful sage or whatever you're doing.
Yes, I've burned some sage for us, for all of us. I really appreciate you saying that people should comment these talks, because we need as well to know what people like to talk about for the next time. So it will be very helpful for our audience to give some feedback to us, and hereby opening the session, the synchronous session.
Wonderful. Just before, again, going back to this, one other thing I want to say is that the program is their program, it's not our program. I certainly don't think it's mine, and I don't think you do either. We have this understanding. This is why we keep coming back to each other. We have the same energies. So if they take, ownership of the program, they benefit the most, because they come back and say, I want to talk about this, I want this and this. And we'll do as much as we can, So hopefully they'll get a lot of their answers, at least with us, And they can always go somewhere else if they like to. I mean, they should, but as long as they don't waste their time on some of the garbage on the internet, that's the thing. So, all right, very good. So what do we have for agenda today?
Consciousness.
Okay. Good.
What is consciousness?
We're playing with this word, right? We've been playing with this word when we walk out in nature. We're like, yeah, Ragnhild, can you talk to me about consciousness? What is it? And we all have this different perception of what consciousness is, but we really want to have like the basis and the basics in terms so everybody understands, because we were talking about the God's consciousness, that the energy of creation, the source, it really impacts on every one of us who are open to receive these energies or not. We will be impacted by this in one or several forms. So we're
your entire existence. Consciousness is entire existence. Without consciousness, you would not even be a piece of stone. Even stone has some consciousness, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, we've been taught in school that humans are the only conscious beings walking on this planet. So this
not true.
Is not true. And I have never felt that that's true. But a lot of people, I think, walk around with this maybe misconception that animals, okay, they're sentient, but they're not conscious because they don't know.
Conscious. Their consciousness is everywhere. The only thing, let's start from the very beginning. Actually, it's very interesting that you brought this up because, and I'll put this to you and see how you feel, what you think. Consciousness is an extremely elusive phenomenon, concept. Am I correct or not? I mean, it's just, you think about matter, you say, yeah, I got it in my hand. You talk about space, yeah, I move right, left, you know. Two things that are very, very, you know, they're very elusive to our actually consciousness, to our state of consciousness, is number one, is consciousness itself. The other thing is time. And we talked a little bit about time last time, you know, and time and consciousness, of course, they're completely interrelated, you know. You can go for, if there's no time, you don't have your type of consciousness, which is the discrete consciousness that we were going to be talking about. Because it's discrete, it's into intervals. You know what I'm saying? It's in intervals. You break this now moment into little pieces, and then you vibrate back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And you get quantum consciousness. We'll talk about all this stuff. As I indicated before we started, you know, we want to actually, I'm going to try to concentrate on this to get stuff as much as I can get through. But there's also the subject of quantum consciousness by way of vibration. You know what I'm saying? Quantum vibration, or quantum sentient vibration, or quantum consciousness vibration. That merits its own thing, because if I get too much into that, I will lose the sense of what I want to tell you, because this is very important. Consciousness, the most important aspect of consciousness is number one, locality, non-locality. And I'm trying to go into mainstream science, okay? And the other thing is quantum entanglement. Those two things bring consciousness to mainstream science that they can understand. By the way, let me tell you this. First of all, as I said, consciousness is very, very elusive to people. They just have no idea what is consciousness. You said it yourself. You go in a nature or whatever, and you have a feeling. You have a different feeling about what consciousness is. You talk to somebody else that says, no, consciousness is this and that. And that's what I mean by elusive. There's no central understanding of the phenomenon of consciousness the way we think about matter. You know what I'm saying? And that can change too. That matter has nucleus, electrons, protons, you know? But at least we have a picture of it, you know? In consciousness, it's just like it's open. So anyway, let me start by this. It is actually very amazing, or even I should really say amusing, that, you know, when you start going to these international conferences that I was giving papers, you know, as probably the most prestigious one, which is the International Conference of Consciousness. That's the one from the University of Arizona that comes every year. And I don't want to drop names, but there's some of the big names in there. I'll tell you one that you guys know, and it's not because he's a you know, authority of anything in consciousness or anything like this, but Deepak Chopra, he has a big name, You know what I'm saying, out there. And Deepak Chopra is the one that, they basically, I got invited by them. I got there, started going there. When COVID came, I stopped going. Okay, I may go back again. But anyway, when I went there, when I started interacting with these professors and these people, by the way, these people are mostly anesthesiologists and they're brain surgeons, they're physicians, they're doctors, okay? So they see everything just like physicists do also from the point of physicality, okay? You say you studied in physics in your high school, right? Or in college, and it said that if you can't touch it, okay, if you can't feel it, if you can't categorize it, whatever, that it must not exist, which is nonsense. Because that's the consciousness will tell you if it exists or not. If you change your level of consciousness, you can get into those levels that you can see that. You know what I'm saying? So you can, I mean, in physicality, in this low domain of physicality, yes, you can say, you might say that, but that you can't generalize that. But these people, these mainstream scientists, they think physicality is everything there is. Okay, in fact, they believe in one space-time. Okay, what we are, this is it. This is life. This is everything. They don't understand the concept of time. They don't understand the concept of the dimensions. And with that, related to that is consciousness, because you anchor your consciousness at different dimensions. So you can be in this plane or this plane or this plane or this plane, okay? Now, in esoteric science or metaphysics, all that, they do talk about these things, dimensions, they talk about frequency, stuff like that. But it's not from the solid basis of, again, mechanics, physics, quantum mechanics, plasma physics, whatever. Are you with me? We're going to try to establish a little bit more understanding from that point of view, okay? And even if we talk half an hour or 2 hours, it's not going to be enough. There's always something else comes to your mind and say, oh, I didn't say that. I should have said that. So I'll try to, focus on it. But the most important thing, and forgive me if I'm not letting you talk so much, you can interject, but I want to get something out to get people going. And then after that, you know what I'm saying? We have the basis covered, or the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying?
I consent to that.
Going somewhere then, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the key thing is that you go there, you meet with these professors from Oxford, from this, and they don't even know what consciousness means. In fact, if you tell them, let me give you a little quiz, write down a summary, what a consciousness is, define it to me in the best way you can. They can't do it. Okay? So they have international conferences of consciousness, all over and stuff like that. So what do they talk about? Who are these people? Now, there are some people who are totally based upon metaphysics, esoteric stuff like this, mumbo jumbo, they put together and they come in, they're gurus, and they start talking, whatever. Forget that. Okay? These people, the reason I went there, because they're physicians, they're doctors, they're scientists. You know what I'm saying? I'm not advocating that they're know-it-all or whatever, but they look at things very, very methodically. You know what I'm saying? And in this particular case, it seems like it is too methodic, but not correctly methodically enough. Okay? So how do they do that? They look at consciousness. They say it has to do with, they relate it to anesthesiology, anesthetics, drugs. You know what I'm saying? Because they think about, hey, I take this drug, it knocks me out. My consciousness goes. That's not consciousness that goes. The consciousness is still there. It's something local in here is happening. You know what I'm saying? So brain surgeons, they start looking at the different parts of the brain and all this stuff. So basically, they deal with what they call brain-based theories of consciousness. So they see everything from the point of view of everything is created in the brain. It's deciphered in the brain. and it's processed in the brain, okay? And the biggest problem that I will have is the number one thing. Consciousness, thoughts, whatever, they're not created in the brain, okay? Are they deciphered? The best thing, or processed, yeah, you can say they're processed, okay? The best thing you can say is that you've got all these billions of neurons, okay? That they start fire, they create a network. And through that network, they start processing information, okay? But that's not their processing consciousness. So at best, you can say it's like a machine. It's like that machine that started recording. Right now, we can communicate. It's a machine. It's an instrument. You know what I'm saying? It is not a creator. Okay, and I will go through this a little bit more that you will see that. But anyway, I'm trying to get so much in here, focus on this. This is the type of things I don't even think about because I don't agree with it. But I want to bring it to your attention because everybody else thinks that way. And then we can put it aside and say, forget it. That's not consciousness. It's looking more than this. You know what I'm saying? So brain-based consciousness is, it's based upon everything is happening in the brain. Brain is responsible for it and all this stuff. That's not true. One of the biggest problems is that you would have in here is that the concept of self, or what we call soul. And I don't want to get into religion. I don't want to get into esoteric science. I don't want to get into metaphysics. So I use the word soul with a certain grain of, salt in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, soul is soul to me. It's very real. Okay. And to you, it's very real. But we were starting from the very beginning, right? So let's call it self. Okay. Self. Self, I can say self. I have an identity. Okay. So how does it describe self? You've got all these neurons firing all around. You have a network, okay? You process this consciousness, okay? They're all over. How come they come into one thing, which is self? Because self is a unique identity. Is that correct or not? When I say you as a self, you have an identity. You have a personality. Okay, there's such things involved as memory, experiences, your thoughts, thought process, making the thought. You can create thought. You know what I'm saying? Brain can't do that. It can process it, but it can't do that. Are you with me? So that's one of the most important things that you can say is that how do we come from all these things? And let me tell you something. Why do these doctors think this way and they've got so conceited as to call it consciousness? Okay? Because of CAT scan, because of PET, PET, because of MRI. You know what I'm saying? They take pictures and they find that if you have an accident, right, some part of your brain is going to activate more. All right, you can see that because the damage, wherever it's the damage, you will see, for example, that part does not give you the memory. It's loss of memory. It's associated with loss of memory. Are you with me? All the damages that you can see associated with loss of consciousness, so to speak, because of damage in the physical system of the brain. Okay, so they think, okay, consciousness is brain. Okay, or it's related to brain. And it's not right, okay?
Dr. Mohsen, is it something like this that you, meaning that we don't even have machines to really measure consciousness? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I have devised 3 things for consciousness, which is basically accepted that what consciousness is, you can measure it. But in a conventional sense, the best way that you can measure consciousness, and you're jumping the gun, but that's okay, we can pick it up, that's all right, anyway. It's really frequency, the concept of frequency, okay? But you have to understand what this frequency means. what's behind frequency, like you talk about wave functions, stuff like that. Okay, you have to talk about vibrations, all right? And so, and also you have to talk about the concept of energy, and what kind of energy. Electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic energy is light. And then you go and think about such things as, for example, Planck's, that they're talking about that energy is measured. And he kind of said these things. Interesting thing is that in quantum mechanics, they've said things that are very close. They're right at the incipient point of getting into the door open into the consciousness theory. Okay? And they set up stuff, quantum entanglement, non-locality, all this kind of stuff, right? But they look at it in the mathematical thing, the probability density function, and I'm getting jumping on. But anyway, let's just talk about it. It's better to do this way than me trying to give you a lecture on this. I don't even like doing that. I like spontaneous things. It's better.
Beautiful. So let's talk. What is your personal or your understanding of the consciousness?
I will get to that. But let's first of all understand this, that the brain does not do it, and the main thing that it doesn't do it. Let me emphasize a few other things that you can really relate to, and is that first of all, it doesn't describe self, right? It will not tell you about self. It will not, and forget soul. Soul is self anyway, but it will not tell. And also, what about free will, right? So this stuff comes in here, streams of information go. So you're talking about communication, data, streams of information. Am I correct? And then say those things are getting streamed to you and your brain is processing them. Okay, so what are we talking about? There's a machine in there that is sending these signals to us, and we're processing it. In a way, it is correct, but it gives you the impression of an automaton, a robot, which is an interesting area to talk about someday. You know what I'm saying? It talks about, it gives you the impression of AI, artificial intelligence, that these things are coming into your system and you have no free will. You know what I'm saying? You have no free will. You can't choose between anything. You don't have a choice. You don't have a luxury of choice, and you simply process them. Whatever they say, you do. That's what a robot is, right? A robot is totally programmed, and it does exactly what the program tells it. Whether it's
yes, it does.
Streaming upon it right there, or it's got a program that is written in there and reads it and does it. Am I correct? Obviously, that's not self, is it? Would you consider yourself as that?
Nope. Nope.
Absolutely not. It would be actually.
Absolutely not.
And I actually apologize for having insulted you to even ask you that, because the most unique thing you are as a human being or as a consciousness being is that you have free will, right? You have choice, right? And then with all this stuff comes in with the community that we have, this structure that we have, the whole legal system, the whole, concept of justice, crime, all this stuff is based upon the fact that you have the power of choice. And if you're making a mistake, you should pay for it. You should go to jail. If you killed somebody, you know what I'm saying? In other words, it comes to self-responsibility, self-accountability. You have a self, and you're responsible to yourself and to your, you know what I'm saying, to your community, to society. Are you with me? So again, would brain explain that to you? Would that explain that to you? No, brain doesn't explain to you, because it's the same cells, same neurons, same kind of functioning, same also everything. Is that correct? There's a quality is involved in there that the brain has no control over. And that's the soul. That's the spirit that makes the decision. You know what I'm saying? That then has sense of responsibility. Then we can go and put them in jail and say you should not have done that. we can talk about the concept of virtue, right? Otherwise, there is no virtue, right? And this is what's happening in negative aliens has happened over the years. That's why they have no self-responsibility. They go and plunder and kill and do everything, satanic rituals, all this kind of stuff, because there is no self-responsibility. It's all about power. I have more power. I will overpower you, and I will take what you got, and you will answer to me, and I will kill you, and I will eat you. I'll devour you. What happened to virtue? What happened to just self-responsibility? The only way they describe responsibility is that you are my slave. You do what I tell you, or I'll kill you. That's not responsibility. It's fear. Is that correct? Are you with me or not?
This reminds me a lot of the military system, of the school system, of the system that is built in hospitals and all these things where the system is very controlled and very
that's a, you're getting into a situation that yes, we are controlled. We're controlled by negative aliens. That's the thing we're learning. Our consciousness is now teaching us all that stuff, right? First, we understand we have a consciousness. We know what that consciousness is, and now that's teaching us. And we know we have to go within. It's coming something from our soul, from our spirit. That's where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? We're getting energy from it. We're getting information from it. We're getting everything from it. You know what I'm saying? Are you with me? But that is because they have put us into prison. You're correct. You know what I'm saying? And then they've got all these rules and regulations, like they lie to you about COVID, they lie to you about vaccines, they lie to you about all this stuff because they have to answer to the other. That is going into that hierarchical situation that I talked about, the negative, probably we talked about it the first time, in negative aliens. You know what I'm saying? Are you with me? Am I losing you?
We are with you, Mohsen. We are completely with you. We have seen a lot of things lately, especially how they extract our energy, and where as a young man, they extract my sperm because they wanted this life force that I have.
And you didn't know. The only reason they did it.
My conscience wasn't there until 10 years after. And then I realized that they were infiltrating my dreams and subtracting my life force.
Your consciousness. They were stealing your consciousness. They were taking over your soul, yourself, which in your body works through your nervous system, autonomic nervous system, and goes into your brain and gets processed and all this stuff. They had hijacked that, right? But not all the time. You're not an automaton. They want to do that to us, by the way. That's a different thing. We should talk about transhumanism and genetic hybridization and genetic implants, all this kind of stuff. We can talk about that, but especially hybridization, and they've done that. But transhumanism is a very important issue because they're trying to make us transhumans, so we have no soul. They want to steal our soul totally. So from this situation of occasional or semi-automaton that they can interface with your brain, their dreams, or through advertising, marketing, lying, cheating, hypocrisy, superstition, all this stuff, they control you. They control you. You run into a thing like a zombie and want to buy something, the next thing. Where do you think that comes from? And then as soon as you got it, I'm going to tell you this about myself. I went there and bought 3 sports cars years ago. They're still sitting in the thing, and I don't even know what to do with them. I've got 10 miles on one of them. I have 25 miles on the other one. There's 3 of them. The other one, I think I have 300 miles on. Anyway, they're pain.
Enjoy them. Enjoy those rides.
I'm telling you. Well, I did it because I was bored. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get into that. I don't want to talk. I want to talk about this consciousness stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you It was the product of this. I have done things in my life to experiment, but very shortly. Like I did race car driving, and I did sports car buying and all this kind of stuff. I did fashion design stuff, buying very short. I got tired. That's just stupid. Who tells me to do this? Who says that I have to pay? First of all, some things I never did. I never paid $800 or $1,000. My wife went and bought me a suit for $7,000, $8,000. I took back 3 or 4 times. We had to fight together. But she was saying, well, she was a doctor, she was a surgeon, she was doing good, very well, and she wanted to, you know, she loved me. She wanted to, you know, and there are still reminiscences of it all over the house, all over the, you know. She wanted to feel good. She wanted to do something for me and whatever. But you know what? Come and give me a hug. That's all I need. And I was telling her this at that time, but I grew through this. I had to work this out. Hey, I've got this thing right now. Should I do it or not? I never influenced my wife to do anything for me. I always fought with her, had a problem. And she said to me, you spoiled this. And then after this, before she passed away, she told me all this stuff. How now she should have thought like me. She should have listened to me. We would have been so prosperous. We should have been all this stuff. She was a wonderful lady. She was a wonderful soul. Don't misunderstand. I don't want to take her name in vain. She was an angel of God. Okay, you'd be happy to see the population turning to her. You know what I'm saying? But she had these things because it was a product of all this consciousness, this mind control. By the way, mind control goes with our stuff, but that's an entirely different thing. I talk about mind control hours and hours and hours and hours. Different types of mind control, how negative aims, tell you exactly what they've done to you. Different types of mind control. Hypocrisy, superstition,
it's very heavy
stuff, this. But we're not going to get into that. Now you got me started on this, so we're going to pass on, and we're going to go this because we need to know consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Are you with me?
We all need that so much.
Okay.
Consciousness.
So what I'm saying is that you might be that you're partially controlled by negative aliens through an AI machinery, but they do it to you unconsciously. They steal your consciousness. They don't steal your consciously, because if you did this, you said, "Oh, get out of my head." And that's what I'm teaching people right now about possession, attachment, creature attachment and stuff. Let me tell you this, you have a free will. I don't even care what's happened to your genetics with how much goo, how much this, how much control. Genetically, they've hybridized us, then all this stuff. At the base, underneath it, there's a crystalline consciousness. And you go there and activate that. Nobody can mess around with you, including the Archon. Are you listening to me? Because that's the gift God has given you. And it is a gift because you come from God. God has it, gave it to you. You're the offspring of God. Are you with me?
We feel it.
You simply say no. This is stuff that people talk about. I have never had problems with it. Why? Because I don't go there. And once you start talking about vibrations and stuff, we can talk about resonance and all this. The point is that it puts you into different space-times. They can't reach you anymore. These creatures, they can't possess you anymore. Are you listening to me? I don't want to get into this. Inside things that I can tell you, there is something, you have shadow self that's part of your DNA. They put it in your DNA. They put it in there so they can activate it anytime they want.
We've been doing a lot of energy work, and they had some chips put in us with old technology.
Not even physical chips, my friend. Not even physical chips. They've done it physically, but they've done it as black goo. They've done it. Now, please don't let me get into all this stuff because I can talk about it forever, and we should talk about it.
We should talk about it next time.
Consciousness, very simple consciousness. We want to understand consciousness, pure consciousness. Okay, so first of all, here, consciousness is not brain. Agreed or not?
Agreed.
Yes.
100%. 100%. And it's not because it doesn't explain self. And with self comes self-responsibility, self-accountability, which is a societal system, which is the virtue system, which all this stuff. Okay? So it can't be that. Okay? It could process consciousness. If a signal comes in, the brains can process it. It's an instrument. So the next thing you want to think about is that what's the difference between brain and mind?
Yes, completely.
Brain is a physical thing. Brain is all these cells, neurons, and all this stuff. Mind is the processing center. It's between hardware and software. Mind, you have the software. You're processing it through this. It is where thought comes in, decipherment comes in, decision making comes in, free will comes in, all this stuff. And we can call mind, relate that to self. In fact, you say the guy is such a mind. What does that mean, such a person? Because that's his personality or her personality. His or her mind thinks that way, processes that way. So then it gives rise to an identity. And what's an identity? It's a soul. It's a self. You experience things and you build up a personality. Personality becomes your identity. That identity becomes your soul. Soul is actually, technically speaking, is the part that has the memory. It puts it all and then brings it back to you. Say, hey, here's what you are. Here's what you've done. Because every time you want to make a decision, you go back and you want to see what you did before. And then you need the memory. Your brain is exactly like a quantum biocomputer, okay? It's a quantum biocomputer, and what it does is it's just like a computer. It has a CPU, which is your brain. You know what I'm saying? Are you listening to me? And it has a storage capacity, which is your memory system. You know what I'm saying? It has a clock speed, which is your degree of consciousness. That's the measure you were asking me, which frequency is one good way of describing it. Because frequency, if you remember, we said how fast your quantum particles are going to spin. Okay? This is low frequency. This is fast. This is high frequency. Have you noticed that when you are smart or whatever, you're faster, your frequency is higher. Your frequency goes up. And in terms of waves, it's just like it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The other one goes like, no? Are you listening to me? We'll talk about this a little more. It's very pertinent to consciousness, but let me finish it up in here. Now we're going to go back to your question, So basically, brain is not going to do it. Let me tell you very quickly about one other thing that they prided themselves in at the University of Arizona. These two guys started talking about this, the Microtubule Theory. So they said it's the brain, it's still the physical, but it is a form of a protein in your system, okay, that has the capability of working out things. And the way that they said it is that you have amoeba, you have all these low form of life in the ocean, that they can swim, they can eat, they can procreate, they can all this stuff. And they're microtubules. They don't have brain. You know what I'm saying? They're microtubules. So they started talking about microtubules. They said they can do that. So we have that's actually in our brain. Okay? And then they started relating consciousness into this microtubule. And I understand it if you're going to say, because it didn't do anything for me when I was watching this.
I'm like, what is that? I didn't feel anything.
Can I tell you something? I hope he's not watching because he knows me, but it's mental masturbation.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they get paid for it. I don't know.
They get paid for it. Oh, they got stuff because they encourage this crap.
Well, I think a lot of it's been like the popular thing to be into consciousness and awareness the last few years, especially maybe since 2012. It's been more and more popular, and therefore they are like taking advantage of it and making it into this sensationalism. So it's supposed to be sparkly and glittery.
They also are they're also very, they have a lot of pride, false pride or whatever, ego, and they want to be the, people who tell people what things are, and it's in the brain. It's not in the consciousness. If it's in the consciousness, it will give you the truth. If it's something that I do in here, manufacture it. It's synthetic. It's not real. It doesn't exist in the even cosmos. That's no truth, no reality. Anyway, so you understand how microtubule, and microtubule is also not very, viable theory, because number one, microtubules happens in every cell. So it happens in, your genitalia too. So now what, I got my brain, my genitalia? It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sorry if I'm trying to be.
Is that the term? Oh, I'm thinking with my genitalia.
Huh? No, but I mean, come on. And now, there is something that they have targeted people's genitalia. That's a different issue. That's negative aliens, hormones, all that stuff. That's a different issue. It has nothing to do with microtubules. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that microtubules are everywhere. It's in your waste system. It's in your intestine. It's everywhere. That doesn't do anything, right? The other thing is that you take all the fish, the stuff that they were talking about, out of the thing and drug them and put them out there. They still procreate, they still eat, they still breathe, they still do their stuff. So now when you say microtubule, you damage their microtubule. You see it on the microscope. You've damaged their microtubules. They're still functioning. So is that the cause of consciousness? Can be, right?
Can be.
If you damage something, it still is doing it, must be something else doing it, not that. So that's an inherent something comes in, and that goes to me. Now, with you were asking about me. What do you think? Here's what we're going to start. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to flavor it with quantum mechanics, because I saw a lot of things that I had said. Quantum mechanics fits in very well. As I said, they're at the incipient point of getting through the door. Okay, but there are some mathematically, theoretically, in an abstract science type of way, makes sense. They're good. I respected them, especially one person that really surprised me was David Bohm, a professor from London University. You know what I'm saying? Because he even said a couple of things that terminologies were very similar, and I swear I've never seen it before. I'd already written the paper. It's that, David Bohm tried, but he's not there. Okay, and we're way advanced in consciousness theory right now. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to this. The key thing is that there is something in your brain that comes from outside, not from your physical. Let's call the physical system local. Okay, and let's call something that is outside this local non-local. And you can talk non-local in different things, which relates to the concept of holograms. You can say planetary brain, you can say galactic brain, universal brain, multi-universal brain, and goes all the way to what? Yes, the God source. The God source. Are you with me? And what it is just from God source, it comes and trickles down. And actually, as it comes, it congeals. It becomes slower, slower. Consciousness becomes slower, slower, until it comes to lower dimensions. That's why the lowest dimension we talked about last time, the lowest dimension has the lowest consciousness. And as you go up, your frequency goes up, time goes faster. You know what I'm saying? Your consciousness goes faster, you become smarter, you become, you know, are you with me? Are you there or not? I'm not doing this very well. Am I doing well today? Or am I talking too fast, too much?
You're very good. We just we're enjoying this talk because we've been talking about this with our friends here in Portugal, where time just disappears. Time is just going so fast sometimes.
Because
we don't even make.
Going up.
Sometimes we just have to rest. We just have to rest the whole day.
You do, because your central nervous system is an overload.
Yeah.
And there are other, also your body is re-encrypting. They're getting rid of your goo, your miasma, all this stuff. When they're done with you, I don't know when it's going to be. This century, next century, 1,000 years, whatever. You're going to be eternal, no aging, no disease. You go back to what God created you. God created you that way.
Yes.
And you are very special. I've already written about humans being how special we are. Because we are the connection to God.
Yes.
There are other species, solar organic consciousness beings, but we are the guardians of this universe. But that's why they've done this. That's why the negative aliens hate us, because they actually hate us because they're very, very jealous of us. And also they hold us responsible because we're the one who's going to stop them. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to do it through brawn. We're not going to do it through this bomb at that bomb. We're going to do it through consciousness. And that consciousness comes from God. They can't fight it. That's why everything they've done is been in mind control, sedating you, stealing your memories, rewriting your history, blank slating you, which means wiping out your memories, controlling your reincarnation. First of all, giving you all this aging and all this stuff, it's all a result of negative aliens, one way or another. Either it's direct or it's indirect. And I don't want to get into that. Just remember this, we'll talk about this some other time, right? Are you with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go back to the origin, where it is, okay? So basically, consciousness is something that comes from non-local source, okay? Now, in quantum mechanics, you talk about energies, and energies are divided into the smallest portion known as quanta. So you don't talk about atoms or electrons or protons or even ribbons of energy. It's quanta of energy. It's mind-boggling. You can't even understand how small this is. It's the unit of energy, of consciousness energy, okay? Now, metaphysics has talked about this as adamantium particles in the past and all this stuff, okay? It's really the same thing because some of this knowledge has been existing on Earth. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the one who just came with all this knowledge or whatever, you know, I'm just getting the same. It's a knowledge of God, you know? Are you with me?
We're very with you. I think that a lot of natives and the guardians of the knowledge have been very active at preserving that knowledge and actually giving that out. So the Maoris, the people from the Amazonia inside Colombia, Machu Picchu, Mayans.
Yeah, those are the tribes, some of the tribes. And they're actually in 12 holographic. They're written in holographic, 12 holographic discs. All this stuff that magic, white magic, materialization, you know what I'm saying, and all this stuff, jumping into dimensions, all this. The whole how body is created, dark matter and all stuff. Let me get into some of this at least. Talk to you about dark matter or whatever. And how long have it been? And we can always come back. I hate to rush. I am
101.
Okay, so consciousness comes from a non-local okay? And the epitome of non-local is where God is, God source. Of course, God is everywhere, but that is all its consciousness because it exploded and of course imploded again. Okay, that's where the vibration comes, okay? Exploded and the consciousness energy got disseminated all over the cosmos. It wasn't even cosmos, it was void. As it went, it created new domains. Just like our universe was only created 15 billion years ago, 14.7 billion years ago, according to mainstream science, right? We're one of the youngest universes, okay? There are billions of them going all the way. Remember how I told you these spheres of consciousness? You remember? You had the diagram of it and all this stuff. So we're back here, and they're higher and higher and higher. Now, the ones that anchor their consciousness in here, they're a lot higher than us here. The ones that are next to us is higher than us. When we jump in there, we're going better than them. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, because those quanta of energy, they're going to vibrate faster. They spin faster. Frequency goes up. Frequency goes up means that vibration goes up. Terminologies you've heard before, but now you see it from more, okay? So quantum mechanics is interesting because it's exact. I didn't even look at quantum. I wasn't even a quantum mechanics person. In fact, to this stage, I have not gone in there into, so to speak, what we said, mental masturbation, starting writing papers to impress people. I could do that. I could write tensor mechanics left and right. My thesis was all in that. I introduced some of that stuff in micromechanics, not quantum mechanics, micromechanics. Just going from the macro to micro in microscopic. Okay, anyway, going back to this, quantum mechanics is the next thing, okay? This is really the closest thing. But I started looking at this and said, there's the God. What is God? It's singular. It's a singular point. There's no space, there's no time, there's no constitution, matter, antimatter. It's one point. But it has a potential, infinite potential energy. And that's why it can explode. Just like a bomb, actually. God, I hate to say it that way because I have so much love for God. You know, I don't want to say that he or she, it is a bomb, but it could be the bomb of your existence. Are you with me? And the good thing is that when it exploded, it did it for good, not for bad. It disseminated its energies. So it creates clumps and clumps of them and become you, me, everybody else. Of course, there are light beings on this dimension, 56 or 100 or 200 dimension there. Extremely potent than more than we are. Their frequencies, one of them won't fit in forget even that. Let's talk about 20th dimension, 15th dimension. One of them cannot come to Earth. It will explode Earth.
Too dense.
Horrendous. It can't take it. What's in here, what holds this, the gravity, everything, it's not going to take it. That's why actually when we come in here, we fragment our consciousness, bring a little aspect of ourselves to fit into this. And the reason you do this, because you've got to be one of many to be able to talk to them, to help them, to guide them, to do, excuse me, anything. They're here, star seeds, indigos, ascended masters, and few guardians around the planet, okay? And these are here to help, okay? But they couldn't bring all of themselves. Now they're connected. You know, it's connected. But the quanta of energy is not here. It's a small quanta of energy is here. And they're slowed down. So they stay here. Now they have the potential to increase. That's how you take these, I don't want to call the word astral, but you get the transmigration. Your soul, spirit goes higher than what's trying to tell every day. Did you ask me at the beginning where am I?
I'm very happy to hear this because it's what we experience. Yes.
Yeah. Did you not ask me this? Okay, so you got the message. You know what I'm talking about. But we all do that. You guys do that all the time too. Sometimes you're up, you're down or whatever. Anyway, let me go back to this. And I do want to sometimes ask you to interject, because today I'm so worked up and it's not a good idea. I'm usually much more placid and anyway.
You know what, Mohsen? You're so beautiful today. We talked about so many things, so many topics in such a short time as well. So for us, it's very good.
That's what I'm trying to do. Because you listen 2 hours, 1 hour. First of all, people don't even like to hear 2 hours. My stuff, they listen to it usually. It's kind of a little unusual. Most people, 15 minutes, they get saturated. That's why they do all these things on internet, that they're music, entertainment, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and they're gone.
And it has to go something. Come on, we have to have this. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem, but it is a problem if somebody comes in, doesn't know you, and look at 2 hours. Well, I'm not gonna watch this. Let's go and watch 10 minutes then. People are like that,
Yeah, but it's also like on one part, yes, we want people to watch because we want people to get this information. But I really truly believe that the people that are supposed to hear this, they will find it and they will feel attracted. Even if I put on videos while I'm knitting or doing something else, I'm like, oh, it's 2 hours long. Let me check it out. If I'm attracted to it, I can keep it there while I'm doing something else. A lot of people, I think, at least we've agreed that, okay, we don't want to do this for sensationalism and to make like it's not a show. We're not planning.
We have better things to do than that. I will write another paper.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this, that you're expressing yourself. How is it going for you? Is it going too fast? Am I doing good? Because I feel like
I think you're beautiful, Mohsen. You're rocking today, bro.
Yes.
I'm not losing people.
No.
You're beautiful.
I don't want to do that.
No, I don't think
we can slow it down.
I think they catch this.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff I've written, talked about it, and I don't talk about it in it. I talk to bring the technical stuff, but it's so much plugging in. I've always been like this as a child. My parents used to tell me this. My wife was telling me this. My wife was saying, "You have this capability, like just to plug in with these kids. I can't do that." She always told me this, poor soul. She was a wonderful, wonderful person.
We love you very much. We love you very much. I saw her picture in a couple of
brains, but sometimes you don't want to be too fast because you drive them crazy. You pull him, shut up, yank him. You don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. If it's this, I'm going to stop right now.
I think it was very beautiful to talk about this negative alien stuff, because we'll
go back to that.
Exploring.
It's good to flavor it, to see the connection.
Yes.
But there's a lot of details you need to know that really is interesting. Interesting. I mean, it's good to know. It's something you want it to go away. That's important to know. But it's not interesting in terms of entertainment. Forget that. You want it to disappear from the face of the cosmos. I wish they never existed. I want to go back to God and perfection and perfect God's world.
Oh, bro, I can feel that. I can feel that pain. I can feel that pain. I can relate to all this because it happens so much in the night world. When we go dreaming, they're waiting actually for us to go sleep.
When you go there, let me help you with this. Hold on. I don't get these things. You know what I'm saying? So let me help you guys. A lot of people write to me. I said that to them, but You go in the morning, at night, you go with, even if you're tired, you pull yourself together. You go into 0 point field. Okay? You may say, what is 0 point field? Go to stillness. Do you understand that? Go to stillness. Quiet the mind. No noise. No vibration. No, oh, I have to do this. I work this. What about my checking book? What this? I have to buy that. I have to do this tomorrow for my girlfriend. Forget it. Right now, it's your time. You know what I'm saying? And it's God's time. And you just go still. And once you go still, you go in and you command your space. You are the master of that consciousness space. Remember the identity that we said? Every piece, every place that you go and anchor to a variety of dimensions, that place you anchor is your space. That's your identity. Are you listening to me? That's your personality. That's where you develop the personality. It's just like you say, here, I'm developing here, God. I'm going to expand from here. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you can ascend and then jump to higher, but while you're there, this is your consciousness space. Okay? So that consciousness space, you command it and you're master of it. I wrote something, go back and dig it out, a prayer. I should do a little more prayer, benedictions, things like this for people. I don't have time. Someday I'd like to do this, go being that sort of person rather than scientific, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I try to keep away from pure mathematics or this or that, but, still I have to go in there to bring you so you can understand it from quantum consciousness. Otherwise, you wouldn't like it the way you say you like it, because it connects with you. You see the logic of it. You see that intuitively. Do you see what I'm saying? And that is science. That's science of God. Are you with me? And it's the same thing when you studied in a university or whatever college, when you really understood that that's what it was, because you go and connect to that truth. Are you listening to me? So you have to do that. You can't just not do, because you would be ignorant. You would not be effective. That's not why I'm here. Are you listening to me? I'm here to have fun with you, but I'm not here to just entertain you. I'm not a clown, and I'm not an entertainer.
Definitely not.
In a different lifetime, maybe I could have been a singer, a dancer. I'm a very good dancer, by the way. I used to be a very good dancer when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
Well, I still am. I'm very, very energetic. The hip goes boom, boom, I've done a little bit of it in the 70s, discos, all this stuff, you know what I'm saying, but very little. I move out of things. I move out of things. It's there though, because the energy's there. Oh, that's bobbing. I'm not Indian. But let's go back to this. You know what? You and me, we can shoot the breeze. So we have to stop that. Be serious. Let's go back. We have to give people something. All right. What we talked about, we said quantum, right? And God is a singular, infinite fountain source of energy. Explodes, everything goes around, they settle down into different dimensions, and that defines the consciousness as consciousness property, characteristic of that dimension. Are you with me? And it says, if you want to come into this dimension, you better raise your frequency to this, or you're gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You have to hold your frequency. You go to the fifth dimension, it's not just a one thing, oh, I get my frequency up. You go up there, you drop to 3, you come to 3. You descend, you don't ascend. You know what I'm saying? Because that becomes your characteristics quality. That's your natural frequency of vibration. That's your light quotient then. You're a different entity. You've evolved. You don't you don't want to de-evolve, You don't want to. At the beginning, you have to expend some energy, intent, and all the stuff to keep it. But after that, you're fine. Anyway, God is singular, does this, blow up, all that stuff. Now, let me see what else I wanted to talk to you about here. Okay, so you're talking about non-locality, something quantum mechanics talked about. They understood non-locality, okay? The other thing is that your quanta of energy of your own self, they're entangled. You are with your actually twin self. When you do this, or a he, so I'm going to say, she does this. Now I'm going to tell you this. When you do this, he does this. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different thing. And we talked about this. Actually, you are a combination of male and female. You are dominant in femininity, you're dominant in masculinity. That's why you're doing this. Because you need each other's energy. It's not sex. Sex doesn't last long. Stupid to go and emphasize on this garbage so much. It's the sharing of that aura, that consciousness energy. And that God has created that, provided that. You're magnetic more, you're electric more. You want that electricity, you want that magnetism. You know what I'm saying? It makes you complete. And you and your twin self are totally the opposite. If you're 55-45, that one is 45-55. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Now, you can't exist together. It's a wall in time. You're here, that's there, okay? The only way you can come in is go to God. It's called sacred marriage or hieros gamos. Mm-hmm. Then your quantum of energy all mixes up. You become one. You become androgynous. You don't have no gender. You have no sex. You don't even have body. You drop your body. You know what I'm saying? Are you with me? That's where we're going. You become an avatar sense of yourself, source of yourself. Okay, let me see some other side, because there's so much stuff I could talk to you about, 0-point field, all this stuff. Let me give you a little bit more about this non-local. Okay, so basically God is energy. It's consciousness energy. Consciousness energy is a very, very pure, crystalline, are you with me? Crystalline, coherent, intelligible form of energy. So these, this chair, you bring it to that chair, they don't understand each other. But you bring this human with that human, these quanta of energy, they understand each other. They still communicate. Your thought waves is a manifestation of your consciousness.
And then we are people who are almost in the same vibration, so we can relate to each other.
You resonate. Because you know what you do? You do this. You dance together instead of being chaotic. So what you do, that's what you do too. Let's see that. That's what you do.
You go in and out, doing the...
Oh, don't say, yeah, of course, that you do vibrate, you go back and forth. But what I'm saying is then look at this, the timing. Timing has a lot to do with consciousness, okay? They're entwined, okay? Consciousness and time, the concepts. Okay, anyway, now if you're out of phase, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this one's gonna go a little slower. Boom, it's gonna pass it by. Instead of shh, see, they're always, never, always, that's resonance. It's a dance. Otherwise, it's chaotic. And now you get 2 or 3 more of them, it becomes real noise, chaotic, and it goes like all over. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you're angry, you're going like this, it goes like this, you go like this, it goes like this. Because you don't dance together consciously. Okay? Either you do this, the other one does this. I want this. No, I want this. I want to go to this movie. No, I want to go to that movie. I want this. You know what I'm saying? I want to eat. No, I don't want to eat. I want to hold you. Get away from me. I don't want you to hold me. You know, whatever. Think of all the things that comes to your mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's resonance or it's lack of resonance. Okay. Now, do you and twin self, you don't have any problem because you're not in the same space-time. You're in what I call conjugate space-time. Remember? Conjugate mirrored space-time. The two spaces that the space-time that are mirrored aspect of itself. The middle one is wall in time, which gives you access into 0-point field. 0-point field is like the neural network of God, goes all the way to the brain of God. And brain of God is right in the middle of the cosmos. So all these things go, end up here. These guys, and the whole thing is the neural network. Now, the thing is that when you go in 0-point field, you lose space and time. You collapse. The space collapses into a foam. Doesn't exist anymore. It has no fabric. It has no tangibility. No, cannot manifest anything or manifest itself, right? Time is the same thing. It disappears. Because time is what? Tell me this, and if you don't, I'm going to fail you in this exam. What is time? No. Come on. Go to your heart, go to your thought, and tell me this. Come on, make me happy.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure.
It's the length, right? And the vibration that
it has to do with vibration stuff. No, it's very, very simple what I told you. Think of
is the vibration that we give to the...
Think of quanta of energy. Think of everything as energy. Everything is quanta of energy. There's nothing in this cosmos but energy. Energy is that God. Everything is a manifestation of that God. It's comes from God. So when time, the advent of time is equal to what? Quanta of energy doing what? What do I always tell you? What's the word that I always tell you?
¿Cómo se llama?
I know what it's.
No, you should. This is the most fundamental thing. It's like looking at your fingers and say, I have 5 fingers. You'll have to know this definition so well. I mean, absorb these things, don't let go. Because those are the fundamental steps you put on. If you don't understand what time is, forget it. You don't even forget it. It's that important. Okay, let me help you. Listen, it's difficult to express and enunciate. Time is the advent of spinning of quanta of energy. When God exploded, its quanta of energy started spinning, spiraling. It gave to the advent of time. And of course, time is bi-directional. It goes this way and it goes that way, simultaneously. And when they do symbiotically and simultaneously, they create conjugate mirrored space-time. It creates one world in here, one world in here. This one progresses time this way, that one progresses that way. That's why when you look in here, that looks like it's mirrored image. When you look at here, this looks like it's mirrored image. And you're here, your twin self is in the other one. Is that hard?
No, it's not hard. It's just that we're not used to using the words. It's not.
No, yeah. But there's no other way to use the words.
No, you're right.
They're fundamental. It's like, what is your name? How they refer to you? You know? We have to come up with I don't like to make names and concepts, but everything that I say is just, it is there. So next time when I say time, what do you think?
Well, it's the spinning.
Yes. You say, I'm full of quantum of energy, and on the quantum level, the units of my energy are spinning, and they're spinning about God. Remember, we said God is here, you're here. This is the vector of time, and it spins about that vector of time. That's how you connect it to God. You go to God, you come back. Clockwise, you go in. Counterclockwise, you come out of God. Are you listening to me?
We feel you.
No, I have a small suggestion for you. And there's no criticism, no judgment, and I think you're doing wonderful. The fact you're listening to me, I'm grateful. That tells me you're wonderful. You want to learn, you want to this and all this stuff. Pay attention, grasp this certain pixels of reality and facts or truth, and grab them. Don't let them go. I have to, time, I know what it is. Consciousness, I know what it is. Now, what is consciousness? It's the quantum of energy. It has the propensity, of course, to do time and to do work, which any energy does, right? What's energy? Energy is something that has the propensity to do a work. In particular case, it has the propensity of doing creational work. God had the full consciousness, created the entire cosmos. That's the biggest feast. Sorry. Okay? Now, it's become a feast for some people. Feet, you know what I'm saying? But, are you listening to me? What we're doing right now, we're creating. You're creating a nice video for people, you're doing it, it's good, and that's God. That's connected to the energy of God, because it's always constructive, it's always creative, it's always purposeful. Are you with me? So consciousness, if I have to put it in words, is the following thing. Consciousness is the specific kind of energy that's crystalline. Crystalline means it's very precise. That means if you take these quanta of energy, they know what to say. You know, they're very regular, they're very, you know what I'm saying? Like if you are a precise, regular person, you get up at 8 o'clock, you go to work, you do this. Otherwise, you're chaotic. You'll be drinking beer at 7 o'clock in the morning, taking a cigarette after that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You would be going, for example, how can I tell you? Take a bath and go and roll in the mud.
We understand. Very extreme opposites.
You know? So it's also coherent, which means it makes sense. If I'm coherent, you understand me. If I'm not coherent, you say, what? That's incoherency. You know what I'm saying? And it's crystal and it is intelligible. There's an intelligence associated with it, which we actually associate with consciousness. If you have high consciousness, you're an intelligent person, and it's true. Are you with me? So it's the crystalline, coherent, whatever. What else I said? You tell me what I said. Crystalline, coherent, intelligible.
It's the clarity of the information that comes in from the Christos, crystalline, Sophia energy that we receive.
Christos, that's why you say Christos, crystalline energy. That's where it comes from.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Very simply, what's consciousness? Forget the whole thing. It's energy. It's good energy. If you want to say it's simple, say good energy. You want to say to a 4-year-old, it's good energy. Because if you say coherent, it says, what, mom? What? What did you say? You know, it's good energy.
Oh, is consciousness that simple, Mr. Mohsen? Because I love this. I
That's
love
it.
this
That's conscious.
simplicity.
That's what the professor should tell me from Oxford University. So you want to talk about quantum? It's a quantum. The quantum of energy are very, very precise, coherent, intelligible, crystalline, and and its energy has a potential proclivity to do work and to do constructive, good creational work. That's it.
And with that, I think that's the most beautiful thing, to be precise and to be crystalline on that. Is only a very beautiful sentence that we can have between this beauty of ourselves. That crystalline.
Simple, this is how to relate to yourself, to cosmos, to life, to everything. So next time when you go in there and you see that I'm getting angry, and you're going to say, no, my consciousness is not very, very coherent right now. I don't have consciousness. I have bad energy. It's not good energy, crystalline energy. What do I do? Get rid of anger. This is how negative aliens possess us, through anger. Violent behavior and anger. That's the time that they grab you and they stick to you and possess you. And the more angry you get, the more they get into your spinal cord and control it until there's nothing left from you. You have to give the body everything to them, soul, everything. So that's it. That's what they're trying to do right now with transhumanism and all this stuff. That's what that vaccine is about. Because that vaccine is going to, in the future, those nanoparticles, they're going to destroy your system even further and further and further until you lose control. They have control because those AI that they're all programmed. Then they can activate them, program them to do whatever they want to do to you.
Are they working with towers, 5G, 4G? Is that the connection?
5G is the mechanism that they've tried to do this because these towers are so close to each other. So anywhere you go, they can interface with your brain. They also wanted to put things in your wrist. They also want to put the phone in you.
The microchip stuff?
Yeah, they want to put the phone in you. So you want to call me and you say, hi, Mohsen, did you dial? Yeah, I dialed inside, Oh, they're trying, they have the technology and they want to do this. They've lost the thing, and now we're getting off subject a little bit, but they're all consciousness. Everything's consciousness. And these things are very much consciousness. It's the loss of it, But what they're trying to do is just they want to have transhumanism, they want to control you, and they want to take over your soul. And they're so stupid, they think if they take over your soul, they can move into your bodies. It doesn't work. Because you know what? That's another one of God's fail-safe mechanism. If you don't have consciousness that comes from God, the organic type of consciousness that we talked about. Because, look, here's the difference. AI technology is information. It's digital. It's something you put in your computer in a file. You go in there and you see a file 01010101. You know what I'm saying? It's binary. It's just a series of mathematics numbers and stuff. Energy is tangible. Consciousness comes with, by the way, let me talk to you a little bit about this. Consciousness has an essence. This is something that little by little, I looked at literature, I found that humans began, and it's funny actually, a person who really came up very close to it, couldn't quite call it the right thing, was Professor Elahi, who's Persian from my background, you know what I'm saying? And he said consciousness has an essence. You think about gravity, you think about electromagnetic energy, and I'll put this, I'll finish him up a little bit, You have strong force, weak force, all these things in thing, and they're force. By the way, force doesn't exist. Wave exists, force doesn't exist.
Oh, thank you so much for clearing that out.
You know what I'm saying? When you say concentration force, the force hit me on the, it doesn't. It can exist as distributed. And then you can take them all and add them up and put them at one point of action. See, this is where I did all my education about. I'm a structural engineer, continuum mechanics person, dealt with stress, strains, forces, deflections, all this kind of stuff. Initially I started as a structural engineer, which I really did structural theory. I didn't work much as an engineer. Learned everything I wanted to know, and I said, I don't want to practice it. I want to know it, but I don't want to practice it. I practice.
Have you been inspired by Tesla, from other sources, other people who were in contact with this God source energy and who had these higher frequencies, and they got in contact with other kind of beings that they were connecting to, so they got messages? Do you have like any great people that you got got inspired by, or were like feeling their work through when you were young? Or
there's one entity.
Okay.
Actually, sometimes I worry about this, to be honest with you, because I worry about this, and I shouldn't really tell you this. This is so personal.
All right.
There's only one.
All right.
God.
Okay.
No, it really is. It really is. It's from childhood. I was always like this.
Okay.
Only God. I'm a person who's a cheerleader of humanity. Do I not cheerleader you? Do I not cheerlead you? Do I make you feel good?
For sure.
When you think about Mohsen, this guy who's I'm talking to, do I make you feel good or bad?
Good.
Please tell me the truth.
You have really
No, I mean, as a human being, you're sitting there, you feel liked or unliked by me?
Liked.
You're a warm person.
See?
Yes.
I'm a cheerleader. I was the biggest cheerleader for my children, putting them to school and everything, okay? And if somebody does something good, I'm the first one who tells them. I will tell them something they don't know about themselves, and then they will franchise on that, or they will work on that. You know what I'm saying? They will build on that. Are you with me? So there are lots of people, could be at different times, and they've come and gone, because you grow way out of them and all this stuff. Like there were professors, for example, in continuum mechanics, when I started my PhD, I could talk about them. I don't even remember their name anymore. Let me see if I can remember a couple of names. One of them was Professor Nasser, who was also Iranian, but I didn't really did much of his work. I did look at some of his work. What was the other guy? A couple of guys like Budiansky, Batdorf. These are some of the guys that they were there when I was doing my PhD. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I happen to remember. I'm actually very good, very faithful in this stuff, but I have to think about it because it's just it's gone. You know, it's not that I'm unfaithful. I'm not listening. I just don't deal with them anymore. You know, I don't read them. I don't. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, there were people that I've come across and all this stuff, but there's only God. And even when you say Tesla was limited. Tesla has something that when I look at him, I feel like, wow, you're something I'm not, and I can't be, or I don't want to be. He was a practitioner. I'm not a practitioner. This incarnation on this planet is not the practitioner. My practitioner ends at teaching. Abstract. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of an abstract. By practitioner, I mean like a technician, hands-on. Tesla was an inventor. He actually went out there and built towers and built this and built that. There's so much invention he has that you could definitely admire. Yes, I do admire that point. But this stuff that says Tesla, I had already said it before people started ranting and raving, so I got to know Tesla. I did not know Tesla 15 years ago. I didn't even know his name. Does that tell you something? And there are other people who have come in and told me, you remind me of this, you remind me of this. There's a Jesuit priest that some people think that I'm his incarnation. Some people think I'm the incarnation of Einstein. I don't think I am, because he died exactly when I was born, you know. But anyway, I'm not. I don't think so. I mean, Einstein had a very good brain. There's no question. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Whatever. We're all human beings. We're all children of God. You want to love somebody. You want the best friend even better than that pretty girl beside you. Is God. Full stop.
Because I see God in her and I see God in me, and that's why
God is in everybody. Yes, of course. You're seeing some good aspect of God in there. You called her last time God, divine feminine.
Divine.
I recalled it the first time you called her divine feminine.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? Yes, this is what it is. God is in everybody, is in everything. And I'm only a little piece of him. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Never said him. I hate that. And I still do it because of all that upbringing. I still do it. I just did it. I said it. I said no. You know why? Because I don't like the word it. It gives a connotation of lack of respect. I use it as I, capital I-T, which doesn't mean it. It means it.
The I am present. The I am present. So the I am connected. I am connection to God.
When you say I am present,
you know what? Yes, Dr. Mohsen, I think we have had a beautiful chat, a beautiful sharing, a beautiful circle.
There's always more to say. Let's see this. You want to plan on this, and again, I'll leave it to you, but we should talk about 0-point field. It will pick up after this because we talked about God, and God is 0-point field, and it gets into technical stuff. It takes you all to scalar waves and this and that, and a bunch of stuff. I wanted to talk to you. It also gets to the essence of God that I introduced it. You know, I said dark, but let me finish this because I didn't completely say it. Dark matter. I wrote a paper on dark matter. Did you see it recently? I think you read it. You said something about it one time.
We were reading a little bit of it.
Read them. Even if you don't come and ask me questions, don't let it go. You know, it's up to you. Don't do anything. It's your life. I respect that. There's no judgment. There's no nothing. No pressure. Nothing. Okay, but when it's hot, do it. It's where you're going to relate to it. It's where you're going to grasp the stuff. It's going to sink in. It's going to. So later, it becomes an archive system. You know, and it's hard. Like, are you going to go and read 400-500 papers right now? You know, it's just, do you know what I'm saying? By the way, I want to tell you this, people have started having, they write to me just very recently, they have these reading lessons, reading sessions. They get together either online or on a personal, and they go over my papers and they read my papers. So it's basically like, I don't want to say, I don't want to even compare it to that, but like, you know, you go to church reading Bible, or you go to literature thing and you read somebody's book and analyze it or whatever. I think they do it that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing from what I've heard. And there are different people, different group of people are doing this. And they're printing this stuff. And so that's a very wonderful thing. That's a thing that people are really very happy opening up, you know. I mean, they're, you know, because for a long time I had so much problems, I felt so lonely. Not, you know what I'm saying? I said, right. It's just my higher self said, do it, sit down. Just like right now. I mean, sometimes I still do. We should reach, I mean, we shouldn't reach 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever members. I mean, there should be. And what about these people? 2.6 million, 3 million, 5 million views. What the hell are you watching for 5 million. What a waste. But you know what? There are certain trendy things you put in there, they go for it. You know what I'm saying? Put something that is appealing to their sense. It is conspiracy, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know, something, whatever. That people go into these trending things. They don't. People are just beginning to learn to sit down in there and be a scholar. I think I've achieved that with my people in the past 10 years. Because the very same people that didn't read, now they read. I know their names because when they make comments, they come in there. I remember who's who, you know? So we have to just give them the encouragement, the stuff to do this. And anyway, what I was saying is that is a positive thing. And then the more videos they are, they were saying that they were just playing the videos, listening to the video, and all this stuff. But you know, I mean, if we're doing this, we want to do a service, and if the service is not, I don't want to talk. I get tired. I'd rather just go and write a paper. Actually, that's the best thing I would like to do. You know, I've taken everything away from myself. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want it. You know, all the pleasures of life, all this stuff that, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the utmost pleasure. And you were telling me this? God, you just start thinking about God, and that's his end. Everything makes sense. Your breathing makes sense. The palpitation of the heart makes sense. You don't need anything else. And then you know what you want? You want to learn more. You want to appreciate more. You know, learning is also appreciating, enlightenment is also joy. There's such a joy involved in enlightenment. You can't replace it. Go buy yourself 100 different outfits. You know, go buy yourself 10 sports cars. You know, believe me, I've done it. Well, it's not the same. You sit down and write a paper. And if I write a paper, I better not regurgitate stuff, because if I regurgitate, it blows the heck out of me and I'm done with it. When the new thing comes in, and starts flowing, it's just like, thank you, God. You wish that he was, it was there, you grab and hug. You know? And in a way, you can consciously achieve that after all, because I think I do that.
Oh, we do that every day. We thank every day, every morning, every evening, every time we see and recognize this Christos energy in another, or everything around us, birds, small little things, flies, whatever who's out there, everything is conscious.
Those birds are beautiful.
Even crystals, everything that's going on around. We do reprogramming these quartz things, and I think we have come to a place where we need to share all these reprogrammings. We need to share how to stay up in the different dimensions and how to navigate them. And this information that you are talking about, it's very live. It's very alive. We get the feelings. We get to see you. We get to know you much better, and you also get to talk about your passion, your service. And that's what when I first read your papers, I said, I have to talk to this man. I waited a couple of years that went like that, but we are here now, and I'm very thankful that you had the time to tell us your most intimate things. Talk about the cars, talk about your wife, talk about what makes you happy, and this interest of God, and what makes you thrive, and that you are really, really into all these papers and that information that you get connected with the God. For us, it's a blessing to talk to you every day, Mohsen. Even if we don't talk to you here on the video,
you're a wonderful couple. Beautiful. I wish you would be here. I'll hug you. We'd have a group hug. You know.
We will do that. We will do that.
Listen to me. What I do want to tell you is this: the following thing. I want to just leave you with these couple of thoughts. Number one, is that life, remember we're talking about definition? Here's my definition of life. Life is a career in consciousness expansion. Okay? It's all about self-discovery and discovery. And when you do this, there's no joy better than that. And if you look at it, everything else is like this. When you go into nature, you see a beautiful looking bird with different colors and stuff. You know what entices you? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? Because you see those combination of colors, which is a manifestation of creation. You don't think about it that way. You just say, what a beautiful bird. Oh, I like the bird. And some are stupid enough to say, oh, let's just grab it and put it on a cage so I can look at it every day. No, that's stupid. You say, let it just fly in there and be free. Let's go feed it if I'm supposed to feed it, or if it's a good idea. Because some places in parks they say don't feed, which I don't agree with. Because if you feed good things, why not nourish them, help them? You know, I have a dog in here with my most beautiful buddy. 3 of them actually. 2 of them are my daughters. They're all over me all the time. I sit in there. I sit here. Listen to me. I swear to God. I sit in here on this far back. Okay, this is the table, right? She doesn't want. She's a little one. Okay, she's a Bijan, so she doesn't want to jump in there. And she looks at me. She goes. She communicates with me. Okay, you know what she tells me? She says, "Bring your leg." So I put the leg. I don't know if you're gonna see this. I put the leg in here. There's the bridge. Boom! She's up here. She's up here and goes right to me. All 3 of them are the same. All 3 of them. There was a 4th one that my daughter brought during Christmas, belonged to a friend who went to Africa, and brought this dog. And it's funny actually. Let me tell you this. This is interesting. The first that she came, she bit me. He bit me. And I was astonished. I've never seen this in animals acting like this. Okay? And I got depressed. I said, what is it that you don't like about me? You know what the reason was? Because my daughter came and approached me, and she had just come in from Atlanta. So I went to hug her, and he was protective of her. So he came in there and tried to bite me. We became the best buddies after the second day. Same thing with him. He wouldn't leave me. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to tell you is, because when I see those dogs, I see God. I'm not being blasphemous. Say God is dog, dog is God. No, I'm not saying that. Everything is a manifestation, part of God. When you take that God and that thing, think you're hugging part of God. These are the type of things that negative aimers don't understand. They've forgotten about it. That's why they're so rotten. And they have no future. Because this cosmos is God's world. And you want to stay here, you better be part of that.
For sure.
If there's another cosmos, if there's Satans, go in there. I wish they would. Leave us alone. Are you with me? So anyway, going back, we talked about God, and it's, every day you go out in there, you look at things, you're hearing everything, sensitivity is going up, so open your ears, listen to all this music of nature that you miss, the running of water, the wheel, the what is it, the leaves, vibration of leaves, the singing of the, all this stuff, and enjoy it. And you know what? When you are in presence of each other, just enjoy that, because you're enjoying part of God. But it is your consciousness, and it is yours, and it's okay. So don't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't look at God as somebody different and you're taking somebody else's. I mean, she's still your girlfriend. She belongs to you, and you belong to her. You know what I'm saying? So you're not violating anything. You can have God, but you can also have her. You can have him. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? God is in everything. God is in everything.
We listen to each other's heartbeats very frequently, every day, many times a day. Like we had a walk before we had this session, and we met 3 eagles, and the eagles were wee, wee, wee. And we were like, wow, thank you, God, because we are creating this just right in front of us. We are creating everything around us, and we feel so lucky that we can do things like this. And
it's all discovery.
Really
and it's all self-discovery.
Yes.
And it's all discovery. So when you go out there, if you pay attention, you're going to see something you didn't look at, didn't learn. There's so much about birds and animals and nature we don't know. Most of us are actually I've told this to my children before, and when we go to nature, I usually become nostalgic like this and say these things. Oh, I should really spend some time and learn all about fauna and you know, what is it, flowers and fauna or whatever, and you know, or animals or birds or this or that. And at this time, you know, my wife wanted to buy me a big book of crystals. One time, big book of this. I mean, we've got these kind of cocktail table type beautiful books and stuff. But you know what? I have something more important. I can't indulge in enjoyment. If I did, I would do that. If I didn't do what I'm doing right now, that's what I would do. I'd go. And the slightest chance I get, I go. Well, I live on a canals and here there's water. Yesterday there was 3 dolphins came in there, and I went out to quickly take pictures of them. Wow. 2 days ago, my son says, "Dad, dolphins!" Boom, we're going out there and trying to film them as they, you know, they were like,
dude, that's my dream. Swim with the dolphins. That's
manatees come. Manatees is going to start coming pretty soon. Manatees come, and you know, all kinds of birds and stuff like this. But you know what I'm saying? And I say, if I don't live here, I would live in a cottage in some nice mountain that overlooks, you know, I mean, you know, all this stuff. So, you know, I mean, this is what's important, not this garbage life they've created for us, 9 to 5, go there, pay taxes, worry about taxes. It's not just the taxes, it's worrying about taxes, filing taxes, doing this and stuff, you know, worrying about the, you know, insurance, and then fighting with everything to get your own right. I paid for the insurance premium. Why don't you give me a hard time? The insurance companies have gone so bad right now, for example. And I'll buy these hurricane insurance, and this my son says this, okay, go and buy them. I wish I'd never come to even collecting them. Because when you get collecting them, and then people, they come in, the gardener comes in here and wants to cheat you on his hours and this. What is this? This is life. People treat each other horribly because they're after one thing: money. You know, the day that they invented money, they actually consciously put us to the biggest form of enslavement possible. And then what they did, they even pulled out all the commodities out of the, you know, their vaults, and then they went into number. So there's some moron in there can type a few things and you're a billionaire. There's this, you're poor. All this Wall Street stuff is nonsense. This is life. This is not life.
That's why That's why it's beautiful to talk about consciousness, because consciousness is for everybody and it's for free. We get this conscient
It's everything.
information.
Yeah, it is free
Why?
actually. It is free. God is giving us free energies. It's free energies.
Quantum energy.
Yeah, giving its free energies, and it comes in an open loop to you, and it's potent. It's all you need. You don't need anything else. You know, you can. I mean, Tesla talked about all free energy and all that stuff. But anyway, what we were talking about, to just cut this short, is that life is a big adventure. This is what I see in self-discovery.
Mhm.
And you only have one thing, and that's developing your consciousness.
Mhm.
And God has put that directive to you so you would appreciate your life more.
Mhm.
Because what it is, we're all quanta of energy of God, and we separate it from God to have, we go back to it. I mean, the correct thing is that we expand out electrically as a male energy, and then we go back to it as a magnetic energy for re-nourishment. Because we expand, we come back, get more. Spend. That's what vibration is. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, has given us only one directive: expand it. Because if you don't expand it, the quality of appreciating what you are to appreciate out there goes down. You know what I'm saying? Because consciousness expansion is your career, is your life, is the only directive God has given to you, and wants nothing out of you. The only reason does it is that you want to appreciate it more, expand it, consciousness, because it's out there. You're just not hearing it. You just don't see those pixels of reality. When you expand your consciousness, they become alive. Suddenly your hearing gets better, your eyesight gets better, and your inner eyesight gets better. You know what I'm saying? All this kind of stuff. Then when you go in there and say, you see that blue jay, da 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 da, because you went and discovered that. And because you discovered you blue jay that comes in, you appreciate that, what it is. Okay? Otherwise, you are a part of just dead energy. So it's not dead energy still, but you're alive inside God. You have no personality, you have no identity. God gave you this identity. Come out of me. Here, go out. Go and appreciate life. Discover life. Enjoy. And the best way you can do this is to be good to your own kind, to be good to everything, to all animals. That's why when the dog jumps on me, I welcome it. I am honored by it. Because I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you can discover things that are amazing. Like one of these dogs, if you see it, you're going to be so amazed when you see her with me around me. She does now the same thing with my daughter. Didn't do this for a long time, actually. And that was her dog. You know what she does? She's sitting there. She goes around, twists her head, and looks at my eyes. And I said, what do you want? You know? And then she goes there. She's very pretty too. Female little, what is it? Bishan. Sometimes I'll show you on the thing. And it does this and it communicates back. That's consciousness. And then it's a new aspect of consciousness. And I'm sure you can do this together. You can look at her eyes You can look at her things and she can do the thing to you. You can discover yourself, what you can be, what is in there that is so hidden. This is all consciousness. This is all exploring your consciousness. It's self-expression and it's communication. You self-express and you communicate with the other person. And if it's pleasant, it's good, the way God is all about. It is constructive, not destructive. It is benevolent, not malevolent. You want to live, and you want to live, and you want to live. And you never come in here and say, oh, I'm 150 years old, I want to die. You know why you want to say that? You can say that because you've had bad experience. You don't want to experience those anymore. You'd rather go. But if it's good, it's always, it's not just good, it's better. Better is a little more better. Better is a little bit more better. Never ends. That's consciousness, my friend. So anyway.
Where's the wisdom?
We went a little beyond the you know, kind of educational aspect of, but this is education too. Yeah. Appreciating consciousness is education. It's not all about quantum mechanics and this and this. But we can talk more about consciousness. We can talk about consciousness vibration, sentient vibration. It ties in with karma. It ties in with a lot of things, how the universe, the fail-safe mechanism of the universe. It actually goes into some things that I've developed, like principle of, what is it? What did I call it? I call it cosmological law of consciousness expansion, but the way it is through rate of entropy, being centropy, I'm sorry, being always positive. Okay. Looking at the open loop versus closed loop, which is dead. The negative aliens are closed loop. They put us in closed loop. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is done is that they're totally out of it. They're AI. They've forgotten all about this consciousness, all organic, all this beauty. Okay. Now Anunnakis recently have come in and asked. They want to go back. They've finally got smart.
They want to go back to Christus anyway.
Well, they're not going to be Christus. It's going to be a long time before they're Christus. But even going to organic consciousness, you know what the AI, the reptilians even want? You know what's they covet most? They would die for it. You know what it is? Organic consciousness. They want our bodies. But they're so stupid, they're so arrogant, they think they can take it from you. And I started out saying this, I never finished it. They think they can take it out of you, they can evict your soul through all the stuff that we said, transhumanism and taking over in, you know, your central nervous system, your brain, all this stuff. And they can just move in through AI. They can download their consciousness into AI, come in there, and voila. I have become organic consciousness because I'm in an organic body. You know what? I started out saying this, never finished it again. Fail-safe mechanism is just that you necrotize. Your body decays and dies. You can't maintain it with AI. You know that? If you're an organic consciousness, you need the blood. The blood has the organic energy. That's what they want. That's why they're vampires. So they can eat the energy and stuff, but they cannot become self-sustained, self-contained. So they want to say to God, forget you. I'm God myself. I'll create it myself. Meanwhile, I'm going to steal all your ideas. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to AI it. I'm going to all this stuff. And I'm going to be in control. Then I don't have to deal with AI. Law one. I can be oppressive, aggressive. I can be tyrant. I can be satanic. I can be all this stuff. Boom. Think again. Can't do it. Because they can't become our bodies. They cannot do that. The only people who are AI, they're partially, which they've done thus, but very small amount. We have very small amount of AI. The type of AI that we have is a little goo that's on our genetic stuff. And also all these things that they have mind controlled us, like money is good, greed is good, sex is good, which is not correct. And it's self-destructive, right? But they put it in people's heads so much for so many years, and they've created a system you can't function out of it. Like without money, what are you gonna do? Tomorrow you wanna go and change your laptop, what are you gonna do? Give kisses? How many people do you think you're gonna want your kisses? They better be girls because they won't want your kisses. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to be funny here, but I'm trying to make a point. Money, 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 money. And it's funny, when you go out there, you want to give service to somebody, quickly they think, what do you want from me? What do I have to do for you? How much money do you want out of me? And the third thing probably, depends on the condition. They think it's sexual favor. And that's the only reason you're going to do this. No, I want to do this because I want to exist in a very, very, loving, peaceful thing with you. You know what I'm saying? And you're good to me, I'm good to you. We are going to be like links.
Yeah.
Unity consciousness.
Exactly.
And one link has so much strength, 2 has more, 3 has more. Oops. But the point is that one of these links, if it goes, everything goes. So that's the unity consciousness. It is unity. It has to be unity. You can't have a collective consciousness that has bad links is as strong as its links. That's another aspect of consciousness. There's a lot you can say about unity, about consciousness, and in different there are different aspects of it, different counts of it, and all that. Anyway, I think we're good. So there were more technical stuff I wanted to give you, but we'll do it on the 0.0 on the other stuff. Actually, it's better to do that because they get so. They have to be able to relate on human level, on human consciousness level. And I hope we achieved that today. I don't know. Before I go, please think carefully. Do you have any questions? Anything I have not answered? Forget about everything we said. It's all there. Something that you feel like was not covered, or and I'll try to give you very precise, concise, the best I can. But I satisfy your, your what is it, quest for it or whatever.
And beyond. I think you've been answering things that we are thinking, and we are like connecting telepathically. I'm like, what about this and what about that? And you just keep going and keep going. I think it's a beautiful dance between us. I thank you very much, because this hug, we will be hugging each other at some point here in this life, and I would love to.
I want you to do more. We talked about that.
Yes.
I want you to get into those conference situations.
Yes.
In fact, don't think that I'm trying to promote myself. I don't, And there are other people, and see if you can find local in Portugal. Do you speak Portuguese? Both of you?
Pouquinho.
Yeah. You're in a very strange situation, because if you would be in Spain, or you would be in Netherlands? Norway. If you were in Norway, and people from Norway, actually, I know a lot of people who are interested in the work. But anyway, you can have these study sessions with them, discussion sessions. I mean, people have all this. They have Tupperware parties for sure. Don't have a Tupperware party. They have a consciousness party.
We should do it. We should do it, and it's coming. We
And
are
if once you do this sort of organization or organizing stuff, you pull yourself up to a different kind of responsibility, and you feel like I can do it. And you show yourself because you have a lot of good qualities, but they're untouched. This is what life is about. You come in here to experience, to bring them out. Unfortunately, these native Indians have put this on our head. You can't do anything. You're stupid. You're not as good. You know. And humans think they come from apes and all this stuff. They don't try. A lot of people don't go to school. The ones who go to school, if they get bad grade, they get discouraged. And then they don't act nicely to each other. You know what I'm saying? They discourage each other instead of being cheerleader for each other. You know what I'm saying? So bad family structure, bad teaching structure, but you know what I'm saying? It's a non-functional society. But in a small thing, you can create a very good functional thing. And then, you know what? You take away from this phantom reality. Your reality is going to be God's intended reality, beautiful reality. Are you with me? And you love it. Just like when he closes his eyes, I love that. He closes his eyes and he goes and tries to feel how he feels. You know that? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that better than anything else? Anything else that's either somebody comes in there and you know give you some compliment, who cares for it? Or buy yourself something, or you know, whatever. All these stuff, oh, good pump iron, good looking, I'm good. There's so much garbage going on in the society that's incredible. It all has to change, and it will change, and it is changing. Trust me, in the past 10 years, I've seen so much difference. I'm becoming much, much more happier as I go along. You know what I'm saying? That loneliness goes away, which I've never been lonely because I've God who's there. But you know what I'm saying? But I want to be with my own kind. I want to be with human consciousness. Interaction, communication, God's communication is a completely different type of thing than, you know what I'm saying, group consciousness or something like that, you know? So anyway, you can do all this stuff. Pull yourself to do it, you know? If you don't want to do it, just don't do it. Enjoy each other and have just this fun, whatever. Do it when it comes right. Who am I to tell you what to do?
It's a great idea,
Yeah,
Paul. It's a really great idea. We love to dance with you. We love to have more people dancing with us. We are talking about that you also should take some kind of engagement. Interaction with us. Write some comments.
That I think is there. We're establishing, we're becoming good friends. But listen to me, there's one thing that in the future we can look at it once the blessed COVID goes and stuff like this. We can take him to Patagonia.
We should.
We can take him to Easter Island. We can take him to the South Pole. We can take him to Argentina. Then we can come up a little bit. We can go to Peru. And what's below Peru? Right by Titicaca. The major historical place. I can't think of the word right now, but anyway, you know, we can do all that stuff. And you know, it's you know, I mean, as long as we don't think of the big dollar sign, we're okay. Because the dollar has to create the whole thing. Unless it goes away and then you can have a bus driver who can drive you for nothing, and you can have a plane to fly everybody there for nothing, then that would be perfect. But it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But as long as it's put back into the system, and next time you give more to people, you bring more people, and you know what I'm saying? Nothing self, everything us. There's no me, it's all we. You know what I'm saying? And I think you have a beautiful heart, both of you, that you can get into that. This is what you're doing this, right?
Mhm.
So, and as I said, try to promote these things to get attention. It's getting other people's attention because we are here, we are doing the work. They're missing out. Help them not to miss out. That's the only way I could think of. Are you with me?
Yes.
Start thinking about those things. Talk to me. And sometimes, by the way, if you want to do this, just call me on a Zoom. We'll just chit chat together. And then, I hope that we're not overdoing this for the public, because these type of things we could talk together. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
okay, so we can do that. And call me. I mean, I'm beginning. I was beginning this year. I've opened up to people
Mhm.
to have to do these interviews, and now it's coming that they're calling me. Hey, Paul Mohsen, we just want to. Yesterday, I spent 2 hours with this girl this lady from England, who's going to be doing a series of interviews. Going to probably see some of them. You know what I'm saying? She's trying so hard. She wants to do it right. I've been helping her to learn Zoom and all this kind of stuff, and she just bought a computer. Anyway, spend a lot of time with them. I mean, it's taking a lot of time for me. I mean, I should be really publishing those papers, but so what? When you publish the papers and few people see it, got to reach out to people. It's about unity.
Mhm.
That's the way we can defeat the Meganovanians. It's the power of consciousness that comes. They can't fight that. There's no way they can fight that.
Yes.
And don't worry about those dreams. Just pull your eyebrows together and say, "Get out of my space." Don't get angry. Don't get depressed. Don't get frightened. If you do this, they got you.
Mhm.
It's like they put a needle in you and they sedated you and they got you. The needle is the anger. The needle is the fear. Don't let it come to you. But after this, says, "Good, out of my space." In fact, you don't even have to say it. And then, you're thinking beautiful stuff. And you know what? You're going to be starting dreaming about what I told you today. Come and tell me if that's the case or not. Dreaming about taking people on the field and showing them things, having classes of consciousness, those become your thing. Because you know what happens? Everything you do, you think about it before. In fact, everything right now, as you're looking at me, 3 seconds before that, you decided how to look at me and how this is going to go. I'm going to happen. Do you know that? That's how the quantum computer works in your body. I gotta publish those papers. I wrote them a long time ago.
It's like when I think about you, let's say I have a very good friend, and this friend, he thinks about me, but he don't call me. Instead, I call him because I got his message.
You want me to call you first?
No, but it's like, let's say if Andrea is out there, she's thinking about.
I know. People listen to me. The biggest thing people have to learn is, first of all, they have to forget about me, start thinking about we, which as a child in Iran, where I grew up, in Persia, we grew up that way, actually. We were shunned if we didn't. I recall going there to the fridge and taking an apple and eating it. My cousin was with me, and my mother yelled at me, "How dare you bring a friend in? He's your guest. You feed him first, then you." That's Persian culture was very wonderful. And actually, I don't want to brag about it. It's been a long time, but there are such old things in that culture, and I'm sure you have them too. You know what I'm saying? And probably you too. But you know what I'm saying? And these things have got destroyed over years. Instead of, they have to, those come back and then go a step further. People cannot give, they have to receive. They're so entitled, they think that they're worst in the United States, but still is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Do this for me. Do this for yourself. Go do this as a practice. Just before you want something, go give it to him. You can read his mind, right? Learn to give. You're probably doing this, but I'm just saying, it's just that, you know what I'm saying? It's just the concept to discuss.
It sounds familiar. It sounds very familiar.
You go and do that, and you do that to her.
Yes, we always do.
You know what I'm saying? Show to yourself. Says, okay, I love myself and I like myself, and that's good. I should, but you know what? I want to do something good for him before even anything. You know what I'm saying? This not only makes your bond better and all this stuff, it brings joy in your life. There is a tremendous joy in giving that you can never get it from receiving. I'm telling you this. My wife was going and giving me $6,000, $7,000, even $8,000 suits, and I would take them back. You know, what the hell do I want to Liberace? Or what was it? The other one? I don't know. Versace. I wore this. I couldn't even get it off my butt. And I said, $8,000 for this. Who cares? Neiman Marcus. You know what I'm saying? Several times she did that.
We understand.
You know? But she did it with good heart. She did it wonderful. She thought she was making a lot of money and all this stuff. She thought, show her affection to me like this. And maybe I wasn't perfect, because if I had shown other way, she would have come that way. Maybe she realized, she thought, well, he doesn't have much time for hugging, so let me tell him I still love him. You know, I don't know. Who cares? It's, you know, the good thing is that I have classified it nicely in my head. I think I have the energies down. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is. But anyway, this is what's going on. So if somebody doesn't call you, you know, my brother's like that. And he loves me. My brother is my best advocate for the work that I've done. He's said things to me nobody's told me. And he's a celebrated genetics professor. I mean, he said things to me nobody's told me. Way before people told me. Whoa, people told me that a lot of things. But you know what I'm saying? But he discovered me. You know what I'm saying? Beyond any kind. And when we were kids, he was very competitive with me, because I was the youngest. I had a lot of attention from dad and whatever. Anyway, I don't want to go into this. But anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is he doesn't call. He's a very private, he's a very quiet guy. He's not, doesn't feel good about calling. And you know what? A lot of this stuff, when you think about it, it's how they feel. It's not how they feel towards you. It's not to violate you. It's not to tell you you're not important. Just don't feel like it. It's kind of like, let's go and take a swim. You never get to
cold water.
You never put your swimming trunks on. You know what I'm saying? When you feel that way. And these people are like, they just are not used to calling. They don't feel calling. They don't come natural to them. Now, maybe they could be rehabilitated little by little. Trust me, I've tried that with my family. It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Because they are very strong-minded. But the thing is that you just respect them for what they are. You appreciate them for what they are. You love them for what they are. You know what I'm saying? It could bring a lot more love in a way, or at least expressions of it, if it's there. If it's not shown when they don't call me, how can I feel great? You know what I'm saying? And bring all that love into conversation. There is no conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not talking. I tried to call him several times, but anyway, you go and call him. Make sure you tell him you don't expect him to call. It's okay, you call him. See if you can, my wife always used to say, that terminology. I loved it. What's it used to call it? Immobilize somebody or demobilize somebody. That means they have this stance and there's no fight. There is nothing. You know what I'm saying? See how it works. If it doesn't work, and sometimes you have to just walk away. You know, just there are other good things. God has given us all this. It's not just this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all part of, again, communication. Communication is that conscious, you know, going back and forth. And they cut it off. There is no communication, you know. So, but you don't do it. You do your own stuff.
When I'm thinking about communication, you're talking about swimming or diving and water and things like that. How important is water in these ascension times? How important is the clear water, the conscious waters, the waters that nation from, they come from the earth straight out? Are they bringing like memories? Are they bringing pictures for us? I know a little bit about the work of Masaru Emoto and his work about putting and activating our bodies, because 70% out there is water. We have this water planet, is the blue planet. We often go to do meditations on these fountains coming out of the water. We take baths there to clean our energy and things like that. Also meditate on the water and activate the water. How important are the waters for us on this time, Mr. Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi?
Sarfarazi.
Sarfarazi.
What talking about it from a purely scientific, technical point of view, okay, going to genetics and all that stuff. Water carries the memories. In your body, actually, in your cells, it's the water that carries the memories. Okay. Water is also has the capability. It's a very excuse me. It's a very special fluid. You know, it's a creation of God. It is water is has the capability of holographically taking images of memories. For example, I wrote a paper 10 years ago that I suggested to cremate people. Okay. The reason I said it is for reincarnation at that time. I said, if you want to, not a reincarnation, just freedom of soul. At that time, I wasn't talking about negative aliens capturing your soul, putting it into astral plane and all that kind of stuff, with soul recycling and this kind of things, okay? So I was saying that it frees the soul. I cremated my own wife, you know, because the DNA has water. And until it totally dries out, it won't disintegrate. And once it doesn't disintegrate, there is a quantum entanglement between you and your soul. Because your soul, once in your physical body, is like your DNA. It interfaces directly with your DNA. All the soul memories and all the stuff that you're talking about, it's all in your genetics and your DNA, okay? Going back to water, so water is very, very important. It can take photographic pictures of the genetic memories and all this stuff, right? Now, regarding what we do at this particular time, I would definitely suggest, and I would love to do this in here, although I haven't done it, and I have to look for them. Look for mineral springs. And none of this nonsense that they're trying to make money out of it and process something, go into this pool and pay those money. Make sure it's a real mineral water. In fact, if you can go out there and into the streams, you can find it, go in there, jump in there, you know? So it is very, very good. It could cleanse you in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Beyond that, I can't say much, except we are, before we become avatars, there's such a thing as called Amrita, which is crystal waters. And that's the thing that I suffer a lot from, you know. You just saw me coughing. It was that. Your pineal and pituitary, okay, they go into this process of sacred marriage, and they secrete, because one is male, one's female. Pituitary is female, you know, pineal is male. And then the endocrine enzyme, the secretions that come out join in, creates the crystal waters. The crystal waters goes down your throat and here. Sometimes it gives you a sensation of sneezing. I have it all the time, 10 times a day. It sneeze. Because when it drips, just takes the tip of your cavity in the nose. It's very close, you know, your pineal gland. Take a look at it, and pituitary is right there, you know, where your cavity nose goes. And so it gives you a sensation that you want to sneeze. But anyway, it comes down. This morning, during the night, I wake up about 10 times clearing up my throat, because this crystal water drips. Okay? And the objective of it is to come in here, go from your left ventricle in your heart, and it goes into your heart, and it goes into your blood and crystallizes or spiritualizes your blood. That's how I'm spiritual. That's how I am who I am. Because it's been happening since 2016 years. We got to reach the avatar state in this world, in this lifetime. Because when we come in, we start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But so from that point of view, water is very important. It's a crystal water. It's a specialized water, but it is the same thing that when you talk about crystalline consciousness and all this stuff, it is the same thing that spiritualizes you to that extent. Have I answered your question, my friend?
Yes.
That's
so good to hear about this.
Don't listen to all these people, water this, water that. People have written all this esoteric stuff about water, and even articles and this and this. So they fantasize. They hear something, they learn something, and then they expound. They put their imaginations into things. That's all I can think of in terms of water. People have asked me about water, and I have not elaborated much more on that.
All right, we're gonna send you and share a picture with you where we are going. We are going there because our guides also are telling us to go there, and we are going there back maybe this week.
Where is that?
It's around here in a very old place called Leria.
It's where the river is born.
Yes, so it's coming out of the earth, and the fountain is just like floating. And we're gonna share.
Is it in Portugal?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of underground water.
Listen to me. This is what I'm talking about. You can take people there. You can do this. Forget about me. Do it yourself. Start a little bit of traveling. For example, if you bring COVID thing, if it goes away, you know, or you can just do it, you know. Bring some people together, read the stuff, do some spiritual stuff, you know, have some activities. This is why I wanted the Institute to be a haven for people to do this. Let them do, if they want to do yoga, if they want to do, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And some people like to work with crystals and stuff like this. I don't know. I mean, I looked a little bit into this and this. I don't have time to. A lot of rituals exist on the planet. They don't need to be. God is very simple. God does not look for rituals. You know what I'm saying? So I just connect. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going rituals and all this stuff. But yes, go in there because it's beautiful. You go to nature. You get all these beautiful frequencies going. Make sure there's no chemtrail. By the way, I wanted to tell you this. They are chemtrailing horribly. Sometimes in Florida, it's just, And you know what? I don't advocate wearing masks, but when you have chemtrail, if you get caught, first of all, if you get caught, get out of it. Go inside. Go in a shelter. It does, you know what I'm saying? Get away from chemtrail where it's dissipating, because the cells are going to clear it out from the clouds. They're fourth dimensional elemental there, you know, they clean out the chemtrails. Are you listening to me? But if you have to wear masks, wear 3 of them, 4 of them, until you get out of there, because it has a lot of nanoparticles and stuff like that. But anyway, make sure, I'm just trying to tell you this, because if I don't tell you this, you look at it, okay, I've seen that before. So, no, don't put up with it. Don't put up with chemtrail anymore. A lot of times has happened to me. I've gotten ready to go and walk and jog and stuff, and even go in the statement, going, oh my God, I come right back. Oh, what person? They'll come right. You don't want chemtrails, you know, because it contaminates your body. They're trying to use these plasma waves to clean your body and re-encrypt your body. That's what the Guardian founders are doing right now. That's what the Aurora, you know, Guardians are doing this. They're specialized in this. They're coming from the next higher universe, you know, and they are here. And they're trying to do this. They're going to clean us. And then you put all this garbage back in your system. You know, it's another winning situation, you know. Or these people who have been taking vaccine, don't take the vaccine. If it kills you, don't take it. Don't take it. Do not take the vaccine. Okay? It won't do anything.
I even heard that the tests are really disgusting. It's also a way of getting your DNA and getting, maybe they put things in it. So they put it here close to your pineal, and that
don't do the test either. My daughter was saying, oh, it's nothing. So don't put anything in your nose. Don't let anything interfaces with your body at all. Those tests are actually a way of putting things in your system. They have no other purpose. They don't have a positive purpose. Their purpose is their purpose, what they want to do to you. You see what I'm saying? So don't do it. Anyway, going back to waters, I think it's beautiful. Go ahead and do that. And you know, if you get into these type of things that I told you, even if you get 5, 10 people like such as yourself, find 5 couples like you. There are a lot of people who are very spiritually oriented, and they love to do this. They feel so lonely. They want this unity consciousness. They want this collective consciousness. They want to connect. It teaches you how to, because you have to manage groups, and when you take them around, you know, you got to make sure they're together, they get on a bus together. There are things to it. I mean, there's some skills with the travel sort of time things, and get into it. I mean, if you like to, if you don't want to, don't do it.
Do you have any questions for Mohsen, Paul, our beloved brother?
I don't think right now, actually, because we've covered a lot more. Every time I had a question, you answered it before I could come in. So I was like, okay, you answered it yourself, but I will write you if I have anything that comes up.
Sure, call me if you want. You know, if you, I'm short, you know, 10, 15 minutes calls, you can just come in and say, hey, I just wanted to ask you this, and blah, blah, blah. You can even do it on the phone. If you want to, record it for yourself so you can listen back to it. I do advise that, because sometimes I throw out things, and if you listen to it next time, it becomes a lot easier, you know. So anyway, whatever we can do. Okay, it was pleasure seeing you kids again. Your kids, you're like,
so
you know. So delighted to see you, and you know, and I hope you're having a great time. You said that there's no more cold. You had all this snow. You were sending me the stuff, and you know, go out there and enjoy life, enjoy nature, and enjoy it together. Nothing better than that. And forget about all the other garbage you hear. They're not in your reality. You can live in a different reality. You can bifurcate. They don't exist. I'm telling you, there's a lot of this reality that exists for people with PhDs and this and this and this. They don't exist in my life. I've got rid of it. Even some of the stuff I could get, like if I want to go start selling those cars and stuff, I got to get into this and this. I don't want to do it. And I swear to God, I wish my son would take care of some of this stuff. He doesn't. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with all that. The money part of it, all this stuff. You know? And so this is my life. I enjoy it. I like it. I tell you what, there are times that I'm a month, 2 months, 3 months I'm in the house. I'm never. You might think it's not healthy. It's very healthy to me. I go out there, I go by the canal, I go walk around the canals, I go into the pond, I visit this. There's a bunch of alligators in there. You can see alligators once in a while, 2 or 3 of them. Oh, wow. Dolphins come, this. I wish I could do more. Actually, I should be more physical, but because when I sit down, sometimes it's just hard to come out to physicality because you've got to pull all that energy for doing your consciousness, travel, whatever. And then when you come back, you got to what is it? The synchronization is, So anyway. Okay, my friend, I think I better let you go. So it was a pleasure seeing you.
We're gonna give you a big hug. We're gonna give you a big hug and say en sån hjärta här. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you once again for sharing your knowledge.
My pleasure. Someday, hopefully, you'll come and visit me in the United States.
Yes.
Or we will be, you're a nice couple, nice people. Do you have any children?
No.
You're not married yet.
Yet, but we are thinking of going and have like a spiritual unity thing, like a little ceremony. I feel we've done our part. We're cleansing each other, and we are in some kind of way getting married. I haven't believed in marriage before. I don't believe just in the contract of getting married.
Forget that part of it. Marriage is between you two. Now you want to go sign something. You know what I'm saying? I did that with my wife, and then I had 3 other marriages with her. I married her 3 times because I did one for her family, one for my family, one to legitimize it, But the one that happened was the most beautiful one. So I took her to a Persian restaurant, dressed up beautifully, went to the botanic garden. We got, came and read the stuff. That's what was the real. And you know what? After all this stuff, spending money and doing this with the family and stuff, I don't even look at the pictures there. I mean, it was more important, the one that we had there. I wore a nice white suit, you know what I'm saying, with a white jacket and stuff. She wore white, and we just looked great. I mean, just enjoyed that. It's for you too. It's for nobody else. And the other thing about the children, don't jump into it. It's not a good time to have children. Let it settle down. Well, let's see. I don't know. I couldn't tell you to own children. So, the other thing is that once you do this, your life changes so much. You don't have time for each other. You don't have time, go out there and do what God wants you to do. Live the God's world. In your reality, in God's reality. What's wrong with that?
For sure.
Nothing.
I mean, you enjoy spirituality, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you standing there, recording this, putting it on YouTube, talking to me? Why? Tell me that.
Well, because I like to share. I like to, it feels like it's not, I think commitment is a wrong word, but it's like as I'm learning, as I'm opening up, I want to share that. I've seen other people do it, and it feels, at first I was like, I don't know if this is, there was some fear in like putting myself out there, but we got a clear message to do it. So I was like, okay, I have to do it. And then it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to know everything beforehand. I'm going to learn as I go, just like we do in life. So it feels like a commitment to myself to share. It feels like something my whole life has been prepping me to this moment now. And I feel like a sponge. I feel like a little child, or a big child, I should say. I really want to learn. I want to know more. I want to unlearn the things that I learned that aren't true. And so I really feel like I'm just so open for the information out there right now. So that's where I'm at now.
That's beautiful. That's the way you should do it, and that's wonderful. You're trying to be at one with the universe, with the cosmos, with God, with the unity consciousness, unified field, and all this stuff. And I'm sure it's the same with you, right?
I'm very happy to do this because we are in the same journey, and to connect with other people as well, like you, and people who are interested in this work, and we can resonate and dance together and get the unity consciousness, the Christos Sophia marriage out there and doing our service. And this is what is really enjoyable for me in this life.
Well, you're already way ahead of a lot of people, and way ahead of what you have been before. The keyword is service. And the one thing that I can suggest to you, because you already mentioned that you wanted to share, and you had to get your feet wet, and I don't know, in your own words you said it, but this trepidation or whatever that you have worked it out for yourself. Do that in terms of other things that I told you. Go on spiritual stuff, or before that, actually sit with a few people. You know what I'm saying? Do your spiritual sessions. Do yoga together. Do whatever. Somebody, crystals, let them teach you about crystals or seed crystals or whatever. If you want to get into these study sessions, whatever you want to do. And then after that, also when that group know each other, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just life, right? You're communicating, you're socializing and all this stuff, and you're doing it the best way, spiritual, God's way. And then you can lose trepidation in going out and taking some people on a journey, a spiritual journey, but a journey on our beautiful planet Earth, taking them to take a dive in a nice, streams of water, whatever, the crystal waters, whatever. Take them. You guys are, you're in Portugal, you're in Europe. Okay. I keep looking at you and I always think about Patagonia, because you told me that's from Chile.
We are going there for sure. That we have to go there.
When that goes there, you start working on it. We'll go together.
So let's do that. I'm going to thank you, and I'm going to thank you, Ragnhild. I'm going to thank myself. I'm going to thank God. I'm going to thank all the beautiful beings with us today. I'm going to thank our guides. I'm going to thank our multidimensionality in the now. Thank you so much, Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi. See you for next time. Thank you, everybody.
My pleasure. Namaste.
Namaste.
And until next time, take care now. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.